live on Google Plus and YouTube, and then it's also the recording is uploaded to YouTube later, so you can listen again or just use the meditation portion if you want to. Okay. So welcome everyone at home. We just completed a short walking meditation, and I'm curious what people's experience is of that, or if you had any questions. Sometimes people wonder, oh, am I doing it right? Or I was distracted by things, or something like that.
I noticed for me that I don't think I move my feet from like heel to toe very much. So I've noticed that doing this,
Okay.
like just playing with trying to like be more
Roll
flexible
off.
in my feet. I'm usually very stiff and try to get where I'm going as fast as I can, and I don't feel my foot being flexible, I guess.
Yeah, great awareness. We usually do. We take the ground for granted, we take our legs for granted, and we're just trying to get from place to place as quickly as possible. Yeah.
It almost felt like a lower body scan. From the same point, like I've got a very quick stride, so it was difficult to slow it down. And when really slow it down,
yeah,
you tell, my center of gravity is in my hips, and kind of that area.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of like a body scan while you're moving. Did anybody find anything interesting about the letting your awareness drop? Like could you feel the difference between your awareness kind of living up here above the neck and being somewhere further down in the body?
I felt the more I concentrated on it, the more I could feel my muscles. It felt like softer. And then everything else was kind of blocked out.
Okay.
More, except the wind. Yeah. Concentrate more on, and just be aware of it in just kind of a easy way, not
right, trying really hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can kind of fall into a rhythm and just kind of rest there below the waist, being in the legs. Yeah. So this is a way of meditating that it's kind of like it gives the mind a little bit more to do, and sometimes people need that starting out. It can be pretty useful. And I know that it's true that people sometimes need that, because I know I sometimes need it. And I've heard people talk about, even in yoga classes, like when they do the corpse pose at the end, where you just kind of lay there, that people have trouble even just being there quiet for that little space of time and doing nothing. Some people fall asleep, some people love it, and then other people are like, I'm done. I want to go now. They don't want to lay there and be quiet or be still. So this is an alternative. I thought we'd practice another alternative if you guys are up for it. Okay, so I think some of you have done this one before. Jen, I don't think maybe you haven't done it.
Probably not.
Okay, so this one is it's called Metta, METTA, or loving kindness meditation. And if you Google loving kindness meditation or Metta, you can find all kinds of versions and all kinds of old historical translations of what the phrases are when you do that meditation. But it takes the basic structure of wishing ourselves well, and then wishing that for widening our circle and wishing it for a bigger and bigger group of people. So starting out with someone we love and care about, and then moving it out to people we don't know, and then finally to all beings everywhere. And then at the end, we close the circle and make those wishes for ourselves again at the end. And it might sound fairly simple, And the act of just repeating these phrases is fairly simple, but it can bring up some surprising stuff. We might notice difficulty wishing ourselves well, or wishing someone that we have a difficult time with well, or even difficulty wishing people we don't know well. And so the instruction in those parts of the meditation is that you can follow along and notice that your intention, like you can notice a wanting to be able to wish others well, even people you're having a difficult time with, and just be there with that. Or if it's too difficult, then when I'm going through the phrases for wishing those folks well, you just make those wishes for yourself, because in that moment you're the one who needs it the most. Okay? And if you have difficulty with the parts that are wishing yourself well, then you can put a loved one in your place. But it's a good thing to notice if we have difficulty wishing ourselves loving kindness or wishing ourselves well. The phrases that I use, I got from Christopher Germer. He's a self-compassion researcher. He says that he thinks self-compassion, or the way that we do meditative practices, is even more important than the mindfulness itself. Because as Americans, especially in this achievement-oriented society, we're bombarded with messages continuously about how much we should be doing or could be doing, that we can use even meditative practices to beat ourselves up, right? We can use this mindful, clear seeing to be like, oh, wow, I suck, right? I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm judging everybody and judging everything and judging myself. And then that's really not helpful either. So self-compassion is this attitude of coming at or holding our experience, whatever we notice is happening in our experience, and however we are responding to it, with this friendliness. Like, oh, there's that human part, right? That wants an easy answer, that wants a quick solution, that gets afraid when I don't recognize what's happening in the moment, or that's trying to rush through things, or white knuckle through things, right? Noticing all these aspects of being human, wanting to push away everything that's difficult, and wanting to hang on to and make everything we like last as long as possible, right? That's what it means to be human. We resist or turn away from the stuff that we don't want, and then we try to hang on and keep the stuff that we want to stay, right? Normal human stuff. So the quality, or this way of noticing, is referred to often as self-compassion. And when we first engage in a self-compassion practice, I want to mention he has a book too. It's probably over there on the shelf. It's called The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion. And it's a book that's full of exercises. It's not one of those books that you just like read from cover to cover. You're supposed to stop. Every chapter, there's multiple exercises. You stop and try out the recommended exercises in there, because self-compassion really is a habit of mind. It's a habit of how we talk to ourselves and how we think about life. And if we have a habit that tends toward rejecting self, or kind of like always wanting to improve self, that's actually considered self-violence. Our self-improvement projects can even become self-violence, because we want to hold this space of I'm fine just as I am, and I could do a little better, right? They're both true at the same time. Yeah.
I like taking meditation classes because I felt that it might make me better. good, bad.
Well, right. So there's this paradox.
Where do you draw the line where you don't try to make yourself better?
Right. So there's this paradox. And as we get further into our practice, what we notice is that we begin to shift practicing from the reason we started with to a totally different reason. Okay, so we might start out wanting to feel better or to be a better person. And then as we practice, we'll notice that the motivation for a practice would be less about an external, like how I'm viewed by the world or how I move through the world. It's more about how I'm aware. As I practice, I get more and more aware of how my lack of compassion for self is also lack of compassion for others, and that I have this huge impact on the world. Every step, every word, every move, every thought is an impact. Things we don't even know, we're not even aware of the way that we have an impact, but we make an impact wherever we go. And we shift to this place of realizing the damage that's done by self-improvement projects and how things can get trampled, right? You've all experienced how maybe you get really focused on a goal. Doesn't matter what it is, if you're making dinner or it's a work project, or it doesn't really matter what the goal is. And then somebody comes along and tries to have an interaction with you or ask a question, and you're like, you can feel like, not now, right? Right? Because we're like the goal, right? But when we look big picture, way high up, and we look at all of our goals, they say, in the end, on our deathbeds, do we care about that stuff? The stuff we accomplished? Did I have a clean house? Right. More often, what they've documented is that people wish they had taken more time off, spent more time being with their loved ones, like really being there. Right? So that's an excellent question, because the drive that gets us started or brings us to explore a meditation practice winds up being not the thing that has us continue or progress in our practice. We shift to a place of this really natural internal locus of control. Right? Something will just arise naturally and lead us to want to practice, to want to be more gentle on ourselves and others and the earth. Does that make sense?
Some point, I don't know, another class or something, and I know you've done this before, but can you talk about, I'm completely fascinated by the whole connectedness of everyone and everything, and kind of what you were just talking about. But I don't know if you could expand on that at some point in the future. Just, I don't quite grasp it, but I like it, and I'm drawn to it, and I'm interested in it. I just can't quite get it.
Yeah. I think one of the things that helped me, and so this is a little bit more advanced territory we're in, this idea of the oneness of all things. And there is a point in our practice when we might actually have this visceral felt sense of knowing, like when you have the aha, like you might know something here, but then when you have the aha, it's like, oh, I know it here. Right? So you can arrive eventually at the aha here, where you can feel like, yes, it's all connected, it's all one. You're me, and that plant is me, and those cars out there are me. Everything, there's no such thing as a separation anywhere in the entire world. But because our conditioning, at the time we're, I don't know, 2 or probably 2 years old, we start to learn we have a name, And we have stuff, me and mine, right? And I did that, right? I'm going to tie my own shoes. We learn this language of identifying ourselves and objects, things that belong to us and other people. And it's all based on this sort of labeling and categorization that depends on things being separate and discrete, right? You're not me. I need to know your name is you and your stuff belongs to you and I'm not allowed to take it. And right? But then nobody tells us a little bit later on, oh, that's a convenient labeling system. But in reality, right, that's not real. Right? We're all one. Right? The consciousness that's looking at me out of your eyes is the same consciousness looking out of my eyes at you. Until that comes along naturally, there are things, and we can talk about this at another time, and I can make book recommendations also. There have been some very helpful things I've read that are physics-based, because I'm like, I came from this clinical and scientific background and training, and so hearing about the proof, the physics research that demonstrates everything is energy and it's all fields, and that this illusion that we're like separate objects walking around is all an illusion, that's how was helpful to me. So if anybody has interest, I can share those things. What's that?
Quantum.
Yeah. Is that a book?
No, that's the
theory.
If you were to look at us or anything, we would just be these indiscriminate atoms that really don't have any definition. So my atoms could be mingling with the atoms over there.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't know whose is whose. They're all just electrically connected.
Exactly.
Which is
kind of woo, right? Right? We can start to sound kind of woo, right? But if we really dig into the science, it's there. And sometimes people will meditate and they'll go, ooh, I had this feeling like I couldn't feel the boundary, the outline of my body. Like it felt like I was bigger than my body. Yeah. So I think it speaks to that piece. It's super interesting. It's really fascinating to me. Thanks for bringing that up. So you guys ready to do a little bit of loving kindness meditation? So you just follow along. You don't really have to do anything. Just be comfortable. Your eyes can be opened or closed. And you're just going to follow along. And this is another meditation that you can use, tailor for yourself. You can change the phrases to be whatever you want. But I use 4 phrases. And it starts out with, feel yourself in your chair. And then the best you can, feel if you can. And if you can't feel it, notice that you'd like to be able to feel the intention behind the words that I'm saying. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy and strong. May I live with ease. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy and strong. May I live with ease. So now call to mind the face of a loved one and make these wishes for them as you follow along. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. And may they live with ease. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. May they live with ease. Now call to mind the face of someone who you don't know very well. It can be a neighbor, a person at the checkout at the grocery, librarian, postman, someone you've seen recently, and make these wishes for them. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. And may they live with ease. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. And may they live with ease. So now see if you can call to mind the face of someone that you might be having a difficult time with. It can be anyone, a family member or someone at work, anyone at all. And see if you can make these wishes for them. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. And may they live with ease. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. May they live with ease. So now see if you can widen this circle of loving kindness wishes to include everyone you have ever met. Friends, family, and anyone you've ever come into contact with. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. May they live with ease. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy and strong. And may they live with ease. And now, see if you can widen this circle to imagine that you're wishing loving kindness for all beings everywhere, wherever they may be, all sentient beings. May they be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy and strong. And may all beings live with ease. May they all be safe. May they all be happy. May they all be healthy and strong. And may all beings everywhere live with ease. And finally, you'll close this circle by coming back to yourself and making loving kindness wishes for yourself. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy and strong. And may I live with ease. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy and strong. And may I live with ease. And then you can come back to feeling where you make contact with the chair, feeling the solidness of the ground with your feet. And then just letting yourself relax and open your eyes whenever you're ready. And I always allow a little time for you guys to transition. And I do that for myself at the end of my meditations. I think it's really important because we don't, we make space for kids to transition from thing to thing, but we don't often allow ourselves that time. And we're still human. Our nervous systems still want some time to adjust and transition to, changing gears from being quiet to then being alert and ready to have a conversation. So I'm hoping that that's part of the practice also. So sometimes people really love this meditation, this way of meditating. Sometimes people are just like, eh. I don't frequently have anybody that really dislikes it, but sometimes we have trouble with something inside kind of resists the wishing ourselves all those things. You can notice whether that's true for you. And this doesn't mean you need to do anything, but the noticing is good, right? Being aware of whether we have resistance to treating ourselves well could be a helpful starting point for change. Yeah. Anything anybody would like to share or ask about that meditation before we have a break? Okay, so this is another one that you can try or use. And we'll have a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and do the guided meditation that we usually do when we meet. So that's for Jennifer's benefit. That's a 24-minute guided meditation. So even people, I never really have a first timer say, "Oh, that was terrible," because you're not really left trying to figure out what to do on your own for a long time. There's a guide all the way through. And probably, why don't you guys can break, and then Jennifer, if you have any questions about like instruction pieces,
Sure.
then we can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to mute this while we have our little break. Here. That one's on kind of bright, yeah. If you just turn the switch one way or one click. There we go. Okay. So all you're doing, start comfy in your chair, starting to feel yourself land in your chair. Feel yourself get a little bit heavier. Feel the contact with the chair. Feel the contact your feet make with the ground. And then turn your attention to begin noticing the top of your head. All you're doing is noticing any sensations, coolness or warmth, tingling, tightness, anything at all that might be there. And noticing whether you can be with it. Okay, and I'll start our timer. Remembering that your only task is to notice. And you can prepare now to leave whatever sensations you found there at the top of your head as you shift your attention to begin noticing your face. And you might let your attention rest in those places where we sometimes carry tension in the face, around the eyes or the mouth. And you could experiment with letting your eyes fall back into your sockets further, or letting your tongue go limp, completely limp in the bottom of your mouth, and notice what that does to the muscles in your face, neck, jaw. And then see if you can leave whatever remaining sensations are there in the face that you noticed, and let your attention move around to notice the sides of your head, noticing your temples and ears, and anything else there in the sides of your head. You could experiment with imagining letting your ears drop slightly and see what that does to any tension in the temples. And as you feel ready, you can let your attention slide around to the back of your head and start to notice the back of your head and neck and whatever you find there. It might be nothing at all, which is also fine. It could be tension, tingling, or even feelings that might not have a description. And you don't have to have a label or a description. You're just noticing whatever seems to be there, and noticing from moment to moment how it might even shift. And so you start to prepare to leave whatever sensations are there in the back of the head and the back of the neck. And let your attention start to slide down the sides of your neck and across your shoulders, noticing whatever seems to be there, and then pausing at the shoulder joints to notice that socket and joint. And then continue on down, noticing your upper arms, whatever seems to be there. And pausing to notice your elbows. Scanning the length of your forearms. Pausing at your wrists. And noticing the palms of your hands. And letting your awareness scan your fingers all the way to your tips. And then noticing left arm from shoulder all the way to the tips of the fingers. And then notice right arm from shoulder all the way to the tips of the fingers. And then see if you can notice both arms at the same time. Feeling them or noticing whatever might be there. Could be tiredness or restlessness, coolness or warmth, tingling, tension. And you're just seeing if you can be as friendly as possible with whatever's there. Imagining that whatever's there is allowed. What if it's just allowed to be there? And start to prepare to shift your attention again to noticing the core of your body. And you're going to scan the entire length of your body, starting at your throat, letting your attention glide down, first noticing chest and heart area, and then noticing diaphragm or that space between chest and belly. And then notice your belly, abdomen, and then feel into your hips and all the way to where your bottom meets the chair. And scan down the back as well, noticing your upper back and the middle of your back. And then your lower back, all the way against the chair. And you might notice that there are some areas of tension or discomfort. And if you want to, you could experiment with just imagining a loosening or a relaxation, an opening in that area. Or you could imagine breathing in and out of that spot as though it were another set of lungs. And just see what happens. You might see what happens if you let your belly soften. Just let it go. And then prepare to gently shift your attention to scan your legs. So you're noticing where your bottom and the backs of your legs make contact with the chair. So scan the length of the back side of your legs, and then scan the length of the top side. And then pause to notice your knees. And then let gravity pull your attention downward, noticing your shins. And then also scanning down your calves and the backs of your lower legs. Notice your attention meeting the ground as you move past your ankles and into your heels. And then let your attention scan the entire length of your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes. And then take a moment to notice your left leg from top to bottom, and your right leg from top to bottom. And then see if you can notice both legs at the same time. And being friendly with whatever might be there, whether it's restlessness or achiness, tingling, vibration, coolness or warmth. Whatever seems to be there, seeing if you can create a space for it to be there, letting it be there. Feeling the solidness of the ground for a moment. Now you're going to shift your attention by letting your breathing guide your awareness to notice the space where breathing seems to be happening. You're just going to let your awareness rise from your legs up to the place where the breathing seems to be coming from. So you notice breathing in and breathing out without trying to change it in any way. So you might notice breath more prominently at the nose, cool air coming in, warm air coming out. Or you might notice the movement of air at the throat. Or rising and falling of chest or belly. Or perhaps the sound or the rhythm of the breath is the thing that you're most drawn to. And just noticing, where's the general location that breathing seems to be happening in? It's different for everyone. And then pause for a moment to notice the space at the end of your out breath before you begin to draw the next breath in. There's a little space there. Can you find it? And what happens if you just rest there for a moment at the end of your out breath when it comes around? Not trying to change it, but just resting there for a moment. So now you can continue to follow the breathing or noticing where breathing is happening. Or you can also widen the space of your awareness to include anything else that seems to be happening in the present moment. You can let your attention go naturally to whatever else is here right now. You might notice sounds in the room, smells, the feeling of your clothes on your body, or your feet on the ground. Taste in your mouth. Thoughts or emotions that seem to be passing through. Or even noticing ones that might seem to tug at your attention. And you can just notice thought is happening, or notice emotion is happening, and come back to just noticing. What else seems to be here right now? Letting attention rest wherever it wants to in the present moment. And as a way of helping your attention rest here in the present moment, you can introduce a question, an experiment into your space of awareness. You can ask, what happens if I allow everything to be as it is in this moment? What would that be like? And there's not an answer. You ask the question and then you pause to just notice what happens. Just noticing what happens if I let the controller, the one who's trying to get it right, kind of fall into the back seat. What if I even let the meditator, the one who's trying to meditate well, relax or not be trying so hard. What's the experience of allowing everything to be as it is? Of giving up effort, giving up struggle for just this small time, this small space of time. Just conducting this little experiment, seeing what happens if I allow everything to be as it is. You might notice a feeling of space or of quiet. And if it's disorienting, you can always open your eyes for a bit. And you can keep introducing the question as often as needed, because you're just noticing. And in this case, you're noticing what's it like or what happens if I allow everything to be as it is right now. And you don't even have to force anything to happen. You could say, what if I did that? What if I allowed everything to be as it is? What might that be like? What might the experience of that be? And you're just going to take 2 more minutes as we reach the end of this meditation to savor whatever space or quiet is there. To notice that you didn't really have to do anything to get to this place. Actually, you only had to do nothing, to do less. You might just make a mental note of that. You can ask this question anytime, anywhere. What happens if I allow everything to be as it is in this moment? And be curious about the response. What would that be like? And you're just noticing what that seems like for you. And as you prepare to end the meditation, you can send some energy into your arms and legs, Imagine them feeling more energized and offering some gentle movement to your fingers and toes. And taking as much time as you need to transition. So nice to see you all this evening. Thank you for coming. Namaste.